Welcome back, learner. It's funny how we often make these massive life decisions based purely on like the showroom version of something.
Oh, absolutely. The idealized version.
Right, exactly. Like imagine walking into a high-end furniture store. You see this immaculate, pristine white velvet couch.
Sounds dangerous already.
It totally is. But it looks absolutely amazing sitting there under the gallery lighting. So you just buy it, you don't even think about it.
Just pull out the credit card.
Yeah, and then you get it home and suddenly you remember that, wait, I drink red wine and I have a toddler and my favorite Friday night activity is eating greasy pizza in the living room.
Which is a terrible combination for white velvet.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Suddenly you aren't just owning a couch. I mean, your entire life revolves around protecting that couch.
Yeah, the reality of living with it is just entirely different from that aesthetic appeal you fell for in the store. The item fundamentally dictates your daily behavior.
It really does. It alters your entire domestic routine.
And that brings us right to the topic of today's deep dive.
It sure does.
Yeah.
Because today we are looking at something that has, well, arguably the most massive showroom appeal on the planet right now.
Oh, without a doubt.
But it comes with a highly specific, uncompromising set of daily realities. I'm talking about the French Bulldog.
Yes, the Frenchie.
We're pulling today's insights from a really compelling transcript we got from the Vital Pet podcast. Specifically, it's their breakdown of what living with this breed actually looks like behind closed doors.
Right, the stuff you don't see on social media.
Exactly. And our mission today is to figure out if you, the listener, are actually ready to share your life with one of these dogs.
Because the core premise we're exploring from the source material is incredibly striking. Choosing a French Bulldog isn't really about, picking a dog breed.
No, it's about choosing a highly specific, inescapable daily lifestyle.
Yeah, that is the perfect framework for this discussion, really. Because the goal today is to look past that undeniably cute face, the bad ears, the expressive eyes.
The stuff that gets all the likes online.
Exactly. And we need to examine the honest, hour-by-hour reality of cohabitating with this unique animal. We need to look at the mechanics, both physical and psychological, of what they actually require from you to function.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start at the very beginning of the day. So the alarm goes off. What is the baseline reality of waking up in a house with a Frenchie?
Well, mornings start early, and they start incredibly close.
Close, like physically close.
Very. I mean, if you're used to a dog that sleeps in a separate room, perhaps quietly waiting on a dog bed in the laundry room until you explicitly call them into the kitchen, well, you need to throw that expectation completely out the window.
Okay, so no peaceful mornings alone.
Definitely not. With this breed, there is a level of built-in togetherness from the very first minutes of the day. When you open your eyes, they're likely already awake.
Staring at you.
Right nearby, yes. Heavily monitoring your face for any sign that the household is stirring.
Wow, so it's like having a Velcro roommate. Someone who doesn't just live in the same house, but is like securely, inextricably attached to your side.
That's a great way to put it.
But I want to clarify something here, because my mind immediately goes to, high-energy dogs. I hear early mornings and intense focus, and I think of like a husky or a border collie.
Oh, right, the working breeds.
Yeah, so am I waking up at 5 a.m. to run a 10K with my Frenchie just to burn off their energy before work?
Not at all.
What?
And what's fascinating here is the absolute distinction between physical exertion and emotional presence.
Okay, emotional presence.
Yeah, yes, they need a short walk, ideally in the cooler part of the morning to stretch their legs. But the core requirement to start their day off right, it isn't an intense, sweat-inducing workout.
So what do they actually want?
What they're asking for is engagement. They need a few minutes of real, connected attention.
Explain that difference a bit more. What does connected attention actually look like in practice versus, just walking them around the block?
Well, it looks like eye contact. It looks like focused physical touch.
Interesting.
To really understand this, we actually have to look at their breeding history. French Bulldogs weren't bred to herd sheep across the Scottish Highlands or hunt foxes.
Right, they aren't working dogs in that sense.
Exactly. In the 1800s, they were specifically bred by lace makers in Nottingham, England.
Wait, lace makers?
Yeah, their job was literally to sit quietly in the laps of these workers to keep them warm while they worked. And later, they became companions in Parisian cafes.
Oh, wow. So they were literally designed to sit with people.
Completely. Their genetic blueprint, refined over centuries, is to be a professional lap dweller. They're engineered for proximity.
That makes so much sense.
Right. So in the morning, they're basically demanding that you drink your coffee with them. They want to be acknowledged as a participant in your morning, not just a chore you check off a list.
Which, I mean, that completely flies in the face of what a lot of us do on a random Tuesday morning.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, we're rushing, we've got a piece of toast in our mouth, we're frantically searching for our keys, we pat the dog on the head, say a distracted goodbye, and just sprint out the door.
Right. The modern morning routine.
But if they are genetically engineered for connection, like you said, that rushed, chaotic exchange must leave them completely unmoored.
It does. It really does. When you rush out the door without offering that focused presence, you are essentially severing the connection they rely on to feel secure.
Wow, that's heavy for a Tuesday morning.
It is, and that psychological tether is crucial to understand because it dictates what happens next. When we look at the behavioral data from the Vital Pet podcast regarding how they handle the rest of the day, that severed morning connection sets the stage for a very difficult midday reality.
Let's talk about that midday reality because, I mean, if they need you to anchor their morning, leaving a French Bulldog alone for an 8 to 10 hour workday, that seems like it would be a major lifestyle mismatch.
It is arguably the most common mismatch new owners face. Yeah, when a Frenchie is left completely alone for a standard, unbroken workday, you see a deep, compounding restlessness build up over those hours.
Just from being alone.
Yes, and that culminates in a massively intense greeting when you finally walk through the door at 5:30 p.m.
Oh, like jumping and going crazy.
Exactly. It is not just a happy tail wag. It is a sudden, explosive release of pent-up need for connection.
Wait, so they just sit around stressing all day? I mean, can't they just entertain themselves like other dogs? Give them a puzzle toy maybe, like a frozen Kong, and let them figure it out?
It is a completely fair question, but we have to look at how their nervous system operates.
Oh,
This intense greeting, this restlessness, it isn't necessarily a clinical behavioral problem like, say, pathological separation anxiety.
right.
It is an honest reflection of their biology. We talked about how terriers or working dogs have a deep well of independence. Well, a French Bulldog utilizes something closer to co-regulation.
Co-regulation, meaning like they use another body to regulate their own stress levels?
Precisely. They use your physical presence to literally regulate their own nervous system.
Wow, that's wild.
So when you are gone for 8 hours, they don't have their regulatory anchor. That baseline anxiety just slowly builds and builds.
Like a pressure cooker.
Yes, exactly like that. So when you walk in the door, that explosive greeting is them finally being able to offload that accumulated stress. They're plugging back into their power source.
Okay, so if I work a normal job, am I just doomed to have a stressed out dog? I mean, how do we mitigate that without quitting our jobs to become professional lace makers?
Well, mitigating it doesn't require elaborate heroics, thankfully. It requires a bulletproof plan for consistency.
Consistency, okay.
You break up that long work day, you schedule a midday visit, you hire a dog walker, you have a trusted neighbor pop in.
Just to break the isolation.
Right. Or, at the absolute minimum, you provide incredibly predictable routines. They find a lot of comfort in the familiar.
What does that look like?
Well, if the environment is completely static, like the exact same resting spot, the same background noise left on the radio, the same predictable structure, they manage much better.
So no surprises.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The dog needs to know what the daily schedule looks like without chaotic shifts from day to day. For them, predictability equals safety.
Which brings up a great point about the actual physical space they are spending all this time in. Since they are indoors waiting for you or hanging out with you all day, the indoor environment really matters.
It matters a lot.
And everything from the source material suggests they are fantastic for city and apartment living because they don't need a sprawling backyard to run laps in. But, well, you have to be prepared for the sounds.
Ah, yes, the vocal quirks.
Yeah.
They are highly recommended for shared wall living precisely because they are not heavy barkers. But a lack of barking does not mean a lack of noise.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because they communicate almost entirely non-verbally.
That's right.
Grunting, snorting, dramatic low growls during play, and Walt described as, quote, expressive sighing.
Expressive sighing, yes.
Just imagine being a new owner, bringing this dog home to a thin-walled apartment. You turn off the lights to go to sleep, and suddenly you hear this dramatic grunting and heavy, wet sighing in the dark from the corner of the room.
In the pitch black.
I would be terrified. I'd think I needed to call an exorcist or something.
You know, many new owners actually do panic.
I bet.
But let's look at the mechanism behind it. Why do they make these specific sounds?
Because they don't bark.
Right. Because they lack the instinct to bark at every passing squirrel, they have developed a secondary, ambient vocabulary to fill the living space and communicate their internal state to you.
So it's ambient communication, not distress.
Exactly. The grunts, the sighs, the little snorts is how they express contentment, mild annoyance, or just, the physical reality of settling into a comfortable spot.
Oh, that's actually kind of cute.
It is essentially a continuous status update on their mood. Understanding this completely reframes the experience.
So you aren't managing a nuisance barker.
No, you are living with a very expressive, tiny roommate who sighs heavily when you change the channel on the TV. It fills an apartment with an enormous amount of personality.
I love the idea of a dog giving me a status update via a disappointed sigh because I put on the news.
It happens all the time.
But, their unique nonverbal communication indoors is charming precisely because you are in a climate-controlled room.
Yes.
Let's bridge that to the outdoors because that exact same physical anatomy that makes those cute grunting noises indoors, while it becomes a massive liability the second you step outside.
Yes, and this really cannot be overstated. We are talking about the elements,
Yeah?
and specifically heat management.
Wait, all dogs wear fur coats in the summer. Why does a Frenchie suddenly require me to act like a meteorologist just to go for a walk? I mean, don't all dogs get hot?
Well, all dogs get hot, sure, but most dogs have a highly efficient cooling system.
Panting.
Panting, exactly. When a dog pants, they draw air rapidly over the moist surfaces of their tongue and lungs, which evaporates moisture and cools their blood.
Makes sense.
But French Bulldogs have brachycephalic anatomy.
Which means the flat-faced, short-muzzled structure.
Right, but it's not just a short muzzle. Internally, they have an elongated soft palate and very narrow nostrils.
Oh, so the airflow is restricted.
Severely. When a Frenchie gets hot and tries to pant, those narrow airways create immense friction. That friction causes the tissue in the airway to swell.
Uh-oh.
Swollen tissue narrows the airway even further, making them pant harder, which creates more friction, which creates more swelling.
Oh, wow. So it is a dangerous biological feedback loop.
A very dangerous, potentially fatal feedback loop.
Yeah.
They literally cannot cool themselves down efficiently.
That sounds terrifying.
It is. So a French Bulldog's heat sensitivity isn't just like an occasional summer worry where you bring an extra water bottle to the park. In warmer climates, it is a constant year-round daily planning factor.
It makes me think of having a smartphone with a severely degraded battery.
Okay, how so?
You know how when your phone battery is acting up, you can't just casually leave the house without a plan?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You're constantly monitoring the percentage, you're turning down the screen brightness, you're meticulously ensuring it doesn't get left in the hot sun because it will just completely shut down on you.
That is a perfect comparison.
Living with a Frenchie in the heat sounds exactly like that. You are constantly monitoring their internal temperature gauge.
That analogy is spot on. You have to manage their exposure with that exact level of deliberate care. It dictates the entire rhythm of your day.
Wow.
You are shifting walks to the very early morning or late at night. You are physically doing pavement temperature checks with the back of your hand before letting them step outside.
Every single time.
Every time. Your outdoor windows for play are incredibly brief and highly supervised. You build heat awareness into your basic rhythm until it just feels automatic.
And this anatomical reality obviously impacts mobility and travel, too. I mean, the physical mechanics we just talked about make air travel incredibly dangerous.
Dangerous. The combination of altitude changes, cabin pressure, stress, and their compromised airways makes flying a massive risk.
I can imagine.
You must have serious vet consultations before even considering putting a brachycephalic dog on a plane. Most airlines actually heavily restrict or outright ban them from cargo for this exact reason.
Good to know.
But conversely, car travel is surprisingly excellent.
Which feels totally contradictory. If they are so fragile, why are they great road trip dogs?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this is where the physical limitations and the emotional traits of the breed perfectly intersect.
Okay, I'm tracking.
Why are they so good in the car? Because, as we established this morning, their sense of security doesn't come from a specific physical location or a familiar building. Their sense of security comes entirely from proximity to their person.
Oh, their geography is you?
Precisely. They adapt to new environments on road trips incredibly well, precisely because you are their whole world.
That is so sweet.
As long as you are in the driver's seat, they are home. Their physical limitations, the fact that they can't handle long hikes or stressful flights, It actually serves to reinforce this intense emotional attachment. They're built to be physically beside you in the passenger seat.
Which brings us perfectly back home at the end of the day.
It does.
Because everything we've explored, the need for morning connection, the co-regulation midday, the indoor ambient communication, and the physical limitations outdoors, it all funnels into how they act when the whole family is just hanging out in the evening.
Right. And this is where their specific integration into family dynamics becomes very clear. First, if you have children, interactions must be calm and supervised.
Because they're fragile.
Well, while Frenchies are deeply affectionate, they are incredibly dense, top-heavy little dogs. And their spinal structure is prone to issues. They are not built to be shock absorbers.
So they aren't golden retrievers who will just lie there happily while a toddler climbs all over them like a jungle gym.
Correct. They cannot safely absorb repeated rough handling.
Good to know for parents listening.
But more than that, from a psychological standpoint, they demand to be literal, physical participants in family life.
Like they want to be involved in the activity.
Yeah, they don't want to watch the family from across the room.
Hmm.
If it is movie night, they want to be on the couch. If the kids are doing homework, the dog wants to be resting on their feet. If you are eating, they want to be as close to the table as allowed.
So what does this all mean for someone who just wants a dog to, like, chill in the corner on a dog bed while the family eats dinner? Or someone who wants a dog that just sort of exists happily in the background of a busy household?
It means this is definitively the wrong breed for them.
Really? Just definitively wrong.
Yes. If you want a bystander, look elsewhere. The French Bulldog is a woven-in companion.
A woven-in companion. I like that.
They are not built to entertain themselves in the margins of your life. They genetically require being woven into the very fabric of it.
And that woven-in nature extends into the nightly upkeep, too. Because, well, we haven't even talked about grooming yet.
Oh, grooming is huge.
And with this breed, from what the podcast transcript highlighted, grooming isn't just brushing them once a week. We have to talk about cleaning their facial folds.
Yes, the wrinkles that everyone finds so endearing actually require medical-grade, daily attention.
Medical grade?
Because of how deep those folds are, they trap moisture, food, and bacteria. If they aren't cleaned and dried properly, that friction and trapped moisture quickly leads to severe yeast and bacterial infections.
Yikes. Which sounds like a really tedious chore to add to your evening.
It can be, which is why experts emphasize framing it differently. Routine is everything here.
How do you frame it?
You integrate cleaning their facial folds into the nightly routine, just like brushing your own teeth.
Yeah, I get a habit.
Exactly. If you do it every single night after their final short walk, it becomes second nature. It shifts from a medical chore to a moment of quiet, physical bonding.
That's a nice way to look at it.
And that leads right into their evening preference, which is, unsurprisingly, intense physical closeness on the couch.
But there is a crucial warning here about boundaries. Because they are so stubborn and they thrive so heavily on routine, you have to be careful what precedents you set.
Yes, they hold on to established patterns with an absolute iron grip.
An iron grip.
If you let a Frenchie sleep on your pillow on night one because they're a cute puppy, they're going to physically demand to sleep on your pillow on night 1000.
Oh boy. So whatever boundaries you want to set regarding furniture, sleeping arrangements, or begging at the table, you have to decide them before the dog even comes home.
And stick to them with absolute consistency. You are programming their routine, and they do not like software updates.
That is a brilliant way to phrase it. Okay, so bringing this all together for our final verdict based on the realities we've uncovered today from the source. We have looked at the morning demands for eye contact, the nervous system regulation midday.
The ambient grunts of apartment living.
Yes, the grunts.
Yeah.
And the dangerous respiratory feedback loop in the heat and the intense need to be the physical center of family movie night.
And the bottom line is crystal clear. This dog is for someone who genuinely wants to offer real, continuous daily companionship.
Yeah.
Someone who has the time and the emotional presence to give and who doesn't mind the logistical, hour-by-hour planning required to keep them safe from the heat and physical overexertion.
And conversely, it is a terrible fit for a constant air traveler.
Terrible.
It is a bad fit for someone who is away for massive stretches of the day without a solid plan to break up that time.
Right.
And it is definitely a mismatch for someone wanting a vigorous hiking or running buddy. So, to you listening, if you are considering this breed, you must go in with these honest expectations. You cannot just fall for the cute face and the bad ears. You have to be deeply ready for the Velcro roommate.
This raises an important question, one that I think goes far beyond just dog ownership.
Okay, what is it?
If a French Bulldog's entire sense of security, their nervous system regulation, and their geography is based purely on proximity to you rather than their environment, how does adopting a creature with that level of profound, inescapable dependency ultimately reshape your own sense of freedom and your own daily habits over the next decade?
Wow. That is heavy. It really makes you rethink that pristine white velvet couch in the showroom, doesn't it?
It really does.
You aren't just bringing something beautiful into your house, you are fundamentally changing the way you live inside it. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the source material. We will catch you next time.